What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. As always, keeping you up to date on all the latest wrestling news or the latest reports and rumors for WWE, AEW, and so on. Coming up today, we are discussing when the next WWE Draft is going to be going down. Details on what WWE has planned for a certain Monday Night Raw superstar. Wrestlers reacts to the Mayweather versus Logan Paul fight. And big challenge set. Massive news regarding Roman Reigns. What is he refusing from WWE right now, and spoiler on his next main event matchup. Before we get into it though, make sure that you guys have those notifications turned on, and as always, for even more wrestling, consider subscribing here and to our second channel. Starting off with some big news, as it looks like the WWE Draft is coming up quick, or the Superstar Shakeup, depending on which one WWE decides to do. Personally, I do prefer the Draft because it always feels bigger. Reports coming from Andrew Sarian of the Mad Men podcast indicates today that the draft will be held over the course of 2 dates, just like previous years, as the first night takes place on August 30 for Monday Night Raw and on September 3rd edition of Friday Night SmackDown. WWE has yet to confirm the news, but will do so when those dates get closer. As it stands right now, there's nowhere yet on whether NXT will be part of the main roster draft. WWE will of course resume live events touring on July 16 and over the weekend, and the company confirmed this year's SummerSlam will take place on August 21st in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium. So it seems like the shakeup is what they're planning right after SummerSlam is completed. So far, based on the reports, it seems like we are going to be getting the full draft, with everyone quote-unquote becoming a free agent, and then Raw and SmackDown getting their pick to rebuild their roster once again. And I don't know why, but I already have a feeling that this draft could be when WWE start bringing back a lot of superstars that they released over the past 2 years, but obviously still want in the company. Of course, the Brock Lesnar, the Becky Lynch, and so on returns are still gonna be happening, but the draft could be a big time for them to reintroduce some superstars like Braun Strowman and so on. And I really hope that that is the case, because WWE obviously released a lot of talent just to save some money before going into live events, and now they're gonna be going back into live events, so they're gonna need some of those talents that they fire, especially someone on top like Braun Strowman. Now for this draft, we were discussing whether or not NXT collabs will be part of it, and that hasn't been confirmed, but there is some news in regards to what WWE could have planned for Eva Marie involving a certain collab. In the recent weeks, WWE has been hyping up Eva Marie's return as a babyface to help out other superstars on the roster, she being the quote-unquote super role model. Reservoir is reporting that the plan is for Eva Marie to return with Macho by her side, with sort of like a bodyguard. Reservoir added that the two names that have been discussed to pair her with are Mercedes Martinez or NXT UK star Piper Niven. Martinez, as we know, was part of Retribution for a bit, but now she has been working on NXT. Many wrestling fans have remembered Niven as part of the Mae Young Classic as a few years ago, if you haven't been keeping up with NXT UK. So this is interesting, especially with Eva Marie been training at the Performance Center for the last several months, and she did hint at the fact that she would be wrestling upon her return. Kind of unsure how the babyface gimmick is gonna work though, because everybody who has some type of muscle next to them to try to help them out is usually a heel. But maybe that is the whole heel gimmick, trying to act like a babyface so everybody could get annoyed. On the AEW side of things, this week we had Miro doing something very interesting, and that is basically name dropping Lana on AEW Dynamite, which was very convenient and obviously done for a purpose, considering that Lana was just released by WWE. Now, speculations and reports from the Wrestling Observer Radio that Miro referencing how hot his wife is was indeed on purpose, and that it seems like this is Miro's attempt to get AEW to bring Lana with him into the company, which is a pairing that we would definitely like to see. Lana on the microphone is absolutely heat, and she could be a really good babyface as well, depending how they bring her back. Especially over the last year or so, it seems like many fans have found brand new respect to Lana as she continues to get better and to transform herself into a singles competitor. At this point, we're just looking for some revenge after she went through a table 9 weeks in a row. We're just hoping for a better result, which WWE clearly didn't deliver on. Personally, I think that Lana Lana is gonna be one of these superstars where she is not gonna have a problem finding another job after her release from WWE. Anybody will want to have her in the roster, even if it is for the heat or the easy pop. On to some other news. This past weekend, we had a certain match that was an exhibition match, Floyd Mayweather taking on Logan Paul, and it was a match that featured Logan Paul hugging Mayweather more than Bayley used to give hugs when she was the hugger. Nonetheless, why are we talking about this? Well, Logan Paul actually survived, so technically he didn't lose, as it was an exhibition match and Mayweather didn't knock him out. So following all of that, there was a huge reaction, especially from pro wrestling. We had Sasha Banks indicating that she wants Mayweather next, because that will be a lot of money and you could bank on that. Sami Zayn actually played off his character, sending a message indicating that Logan Paul wouldn't have survived those 8 rounds against Mayweather if it wasn't for his wisdom that he gave Logan Paul while they were friends heading into WrestleMania. We also had Chris Jericho challenging Mayweather into a match and showcasing an image of him getting face to face with Mayweather back in the day in WWE, when of course Mayweather was fighting off his former tag team partner, The Big Show. Considering how much money Mayweather is making out of all of this, I'm expecting more exhibition matches to be going down, and hell, I would love to see one against Chris Jericho. Anyways guys, if you ended up watching the fight, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And last but not least, we are talking the latest in regards to the Universal Champion Roman Reigns. Some big reports to talk about. The first one being that it looks like Roman Reigns got some specific demands from WWE, as he refuses to do a couple of things, which is not really a surprise from a top superstar like him. And why he's refusing actually makes sense. According to the Wrestling Observer Radio, they revealed that Roman Reigns will not go anywhere on the card except for the first or the last segment, the main event. And this really sounds like a certain Brock Lesnar type of thing, which I wouldn't be surprised if Paul Heyman is behind it, because Paul Heyman is an advocate of these type of things. He knows that if someone is on top, they should either be the main event or they should just come in there, open the show, and then just leave. The report added that he doesn't want to go anywhere but first, because that's okay, or last. You will not see him going second or fourth or second from the last. This is probably a good indication as to why Roman Reigns has main evented so many pay-per-views over the last couple of months, to the point where Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, and basically everybody else haven't gotten that main event position. Talking about main events and potential spoiler to that next pay-per-view, WWE Hell in a Cell, there has been a lot of question on what exactly WWE is going to be doing with Roman Reigns at that event. We know that Roman versus Cesaro is not going to be happening because Cesaro is currently feuding with Seth Rollins once again. There were rumors that we were going to be getting Jimmy Uso versus Roman Reigns, but even that was kind of dropped, even though of course Jimmy still continues to struggle against Roman Reigns, as they don't see eye to eye. Now after this past week of SmackDown, it seems like the match for the time being for Roman is gonna be against Rey Mysterio. The Mysterios are of course currently feuding with the Usos, but they continue to get the best out of them, which could lead into Roman Reigns kind of challenging Rey Mysterio to more or less prove to them how exactly to get the job done. We don't know specifically what type of storyline WWE is going to be building, but as of right now, reports do indicate that Roman Reigns versus Rey Mysterio for the Universal Championship seems to be the match that's going to be happening at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. And I am all down for it because it's going to be an amazing match. If it's anything like what we got to see against Brock, Rey Mysterio is definitely going to bring it against Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns has been giving us awesome performance as of late, so that is once again gonna be one of those David versus Goliath type of matchup, which will likely be brutal. And WWE already had it on the way, as Roman did attack the Mysterios to end SmackDown this week, so everything is kind of lining up for it. Anyways guys, that is all the latest. If you enjoyed, found it informative, don't forget to elbow drop it and hit those notifications. I'll catch you on the next one, so stay savage.